Get it started. Hello.
Who said that?
Judith Brown, Diane.
Where's she at?
How are you doing?
What's going on?
Hello.
And I'm just an old man trying to keep up. 60 years old.
He's feeling young.
I say still young.
Everyone can please get behind me.
Thank you.
These are the first people. Everybody's here. That go behind this banner. Oh, yes. Okay, so I was. Your first and second.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Favor the banner, and then once we start receiving the rest, everyone moves to the other side, and then we start the program from you are that's the deadline of the rest. Okay, this is just about 6 people. Then we move. You don't move till the after time. You stay in the park.
The Christmas party.
Okay.
That's where we're speaking from, is the park.
We are speaking from the
Yes, good to see you again.
from the street. And then we are moving to the forest. So I'll signal you. We'll be right here.
Okay. All right. Ready? So can you give them the signal? We're ready to go?
I woke up this morning with my mind, it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hey, I woke up this
We are live this morning from Black Lives Matter for voting rights. It is a beautiful morning. As you can see, the march is being led by Reverend Barber from the Poor People's Campaign, and we are out here with hundreds of young people and civil rights leaders who are willing to risk nonviolent arrest for voting rights.
Hallelujah. Hey. Hallelujah. Let's get justice. Yeah. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was saved. Y'all sound like a church. Yeah. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was
Activists are marching from Black Lives Matter flags straight towards the White House to call upon President Joe Biden and pressure Democratic majority Congress to pass federal voting rights, which prevent people from being disenfranchised at the ballot box through unfair restrictions, diminished polling places, diminished security, and rollbacks on early and absentee voting, which target people of color specifically. People are out here fighting the new Jim Crow with their voices, willing to participate in jail sacrifice and get arrested in front of the White House itself.
And it was saved. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We gotta sing it again. Yeah, I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on.
I woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on free.
Oh, I woke up this morning with
We have been out here several times throughout the fall calling upon President Joe Biden and the Senate to ensure the passage of the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, the For the People Act, and D.C. statehood to ensure that everybody in this country has safe and easy access to the ballot box. A thing that should have never been vulnerable to begin with, but has been threatened by a reactionary Republican majority in the state legislatures passing legislation which ensure that communities of color have higher and higher stress in their attempt to vote.
I
It is a beautiful morning out here, and every one of these actions, the numbers have grown. What started as a dedicated group of faith leaders, our first Wednesday out here, has now grown to a full-fledged movement. Hundreds of people are going to be arrested this morning. We are now passing the church where Trump held up a Bible after gassing and shooting thousands of Black Lives Matter protesters there just over a year ago, marching towards Lafayette Square Park. The energy out here this morning is just incredible. Most of the activists here are incredibly young. As you can see, the march is being led by Reverend Barber and other faith leaders. There is just a profound energy this morning as people are calling upon the Senate and Joe Biden to pass voting rights before the end of the year. The war for voting rights has become incredibly urgent as we move towards next year's midterm elections, an election cycle which will determine rights for communities of color in a profound way, including on this issue, which is why, as activists have been saying ever since they started coming out here, we don't have any time to waste on this issue. The fewer people vote, the fewer people are able to vote.
You gotta walk strong, walk in song. Say when you're walking in the footsteps of the ancestors. Hey, walk strong and walk in song. When you're walking in the footsteps of the ancestors. You gotta walk strong and walk in song. Hey, Dr. King, when you're walking in the footsteps of Dr. King, you gotta walk strong and walk in song. Hey, when you're walking, in the footsteps of ancestors, you gotta walk strong and walk in song. Say that, you gotta walk strong and walk in song. 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 Come on, say, when you're walking in the footsteps of the ancestors. Hey, you gotta walk strong and walk in song. We doing it, y'all. When you're walking. Gotta walk strong. Let me hear you say, you gotta walk strong and walk in song. You gotta walk strong and walk in song. Hey, we the people are for the people and for the people. We the people are for the people. Now will you have our back? We won't ever let go of that hard-won freedom to vote. Say, we the people are for the people and for the people. And we the people are for the people. Now will you have our back? We won't ever let go. Hey, that hard-won freedom to vote. We the people are for the people and for the people. Yeah, we the people are for the people. Now will you have our back? We won't ever let go. people are, we the people are, hey, and people act, say it again.
The people are for the people.
Now will you have our we won't
We won't ever let go of that hard-won freedom.
freedom to vote. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I say to y'all, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Yeah, in front of the White House. Yeah, this little, say it, y'all, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine. Come on, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. All over this land. All over this land. I'm gonna let it shine.
There's a step down.
Everyone, please watch your step. Please watch your step. Watch your step. Everybody, watch your step. Watch your step. Watch your step.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Ooh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, Lord, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere that I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine.
Only the speakers here.
Let it shine.
I'm going to ask you.
She'll be right here. Ben, policeman. Hola, baby, you see Ben? That's exactly the problem. Rio, we don't have mics.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Vangelis, come to the front. Vangelis, come to the front. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Vangelis, come to the front.
Vangelis, come to the front.
Thank you, guys.
Vangelis, please come to the front.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are.
Take a second.
Can you hear it? Is it working? Hello? Everybody can hear me? Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We are here today to say that we want voting rights now. Then come on. My partner in crime and my partner in justice, Vangelis, is supposed to be opening us up. But I'm going to hand it over to him first before we get started.
Well, it's much easier for her to move through the crowd than me. thank you for being here. Let me hear from you if you came from more than 200 miles away today. Let me hear from you if you are our sisters and brothers in the labor movement who are here today. At the forefront of this movement, from the very beginning, have been the voices of women echoing those of the suffragists who pushed President Wilson.
That's right.
The last time that the League, in this case it was their predecessor organization, was in front of the White House getting arrested, Woodrow Wilson was president.
That's right.
At the forefront of this from the very beginning have been the clergy.
Yeah!
There is a group of women clergy here from impacted states. I just want to ask to come up here for a second. Black women have been at the forefront of this movement. And let's just hear it from these sisters in the ministry who are here to risk arrest. Why don't you stand up here if you can? Can you get on up? Can you get on up? Can you get on up? You got that? All right. All right. This movement is fundamentally about ensuring that the arc of the moral universe of America continues to bend towards justice. Yes. I want to thank all of the clergy who are here and bring up two great ones to lead us off. But before we do, I'm going to ask my sister here just to say a brief word about the impact this will have on her people.
My name is Reverend Dr. Rebecca Stitt.
All right.
I'm the pastor of St. Peter's African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, located in Cleveland, Ohio. I came out here because I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. They knew what John Lewis has done. They knew how he had been beaten just because of the right to vote. But yet we got members sitting in Congress right now with deaf ears. Mark Meadows was his best friend, Republican. Mitch McConnell knew him. Grassley knew him. But yet they got deaf ears. I remember the civil rights movement. I remember what folk went through. And it's a shame that we've got to come here and do it all over again 50 years later. So I want you all to shout with your highest voices that we will vote. We will vote. We want our vote. We want our vote. We want our right to vote. We want our right to vote.
Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And real quickly, can you just say your name and where you're from? These are the other women pastors who are here.
I'm Maturia Chase Williams from Atlanta, Georgia. Voter rights now, no more voter suppression.
Brenda Jenkins Bozeman. I live in Aiken, South Carolina, and pastor in Augusta, Georgia.
All right. And now we'll turn back to Virginia, who will introduce the rabbi and the bishop who will start us off today.
So we actually have two more very important people here that I need to introduce. Again, my name is Virginia K. Solomon. I am the CEO of the League of Women Voters in the United States. And back in August, this was just a dream of ours to build a movement, to work with all of you to give this administration the notice that we helped get you into office.
That's right.
Absolutely. And now you need to make good on your promise. But there are two very important friends of mine here. My friend Melanie Campbell.
That's right.
From the Black Women's Roundtable and the National Council on Black Civic Participation, and my other dear friend Judith Brown Dianis.
That's right. From
the Advancement Project. And Black women have been leading this movement for centuries. And And Melanie asked me a few months ago, back in July, hey, we're going to get arrested at the Senate. Will you come? And what I said to her was, that's what friends do for each other. And she has been leading this pressure campaign on the Senate to move their political will. And she has been supportive of me as we move this pressure campaign on the White House. And so I want to bring Judith and Melanie up just to say a few words.
That's right.
Well, Virginia, Barbara, everybody. Oh my God, it's good to be here. I tell you, Ben, I was wasn't supposed to go to jail yesterday, wasn't supposed to go to jail yesterday, Reverend, but some sisters and brothers stepped up, so I went one more time. So I'm a little tired from that little quick bumpy ride, but it's still a serious ride. So it's good to be here. I don't know why we have to be here, but we're here. And so the message is clear. Whoever's not doing what needs to be done needs to understand time is up and get it done. We have, with the National Council of Negro Women and so many other organizations here, have been at the Senate, pushing the Senate for the last 4 months. I have been in meetings inside of this building with our administration that many of us helped to elect. I have expressed my concern that they use all the tools in the bully pulpit they have as the leaders of this country. That message has not changed. And so I'm here to say to our friends in the White House, we need you to use all those tools now. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. We've been out here pushing not just for voting rights, but for economic justice, for reproductive justice. So we want you to do that same thing. It is time for you to do that now. We have an election coming up in what, 4 months? And we're going to be trying to mobilize with the voting rights suppression laws that are on the books. There is no organizing your way out of the fact that in Georgia, for example, they can take and decide, I don't like who's running the Board of Elections. So that means we're going to take Helen Butler and throw her off of the Board of Elections in Georgia. And then we're going to put who we want so they can count it. So we can't out-organize ourselves out of that Black Voters Matter. We can't do that. So I'm here in solidarity today, tired, a little weary, to be honest, but I could not. I told my sister Virginia I was going to come. We said we swapped going to jail. She went with me, and couldn't go yesterday, but I can't go today. But I tell you, I love what we're doing. We're going to win. We're going to win. So White House, do your job. U.S. Senate, do your job. We put you in office to do your job. Thank you.
Go, Georgia!
Hey, that's not working. They're telling me to try it out. Hey y'all, I'm Judith Brown Dianis. I am Executive Director of Advancement Project. So I stand here today thinking that I'm tired of bringing lawsuits. I'm a voting rights attorney. For decades, I've been suing. But when I look at this crowd, when I see my people from Georgia here, raise up Georgia. When I see my people from Florida, raise up Florida. How about Michigan? How about Ohio? Who else we got? Anybody else? Indiana, Wisconsin. When I see y'all, I can't be tired anymore. Because if you're not tired, I'm not tired. But what we're here today to say to the White House, to President Biden, is no more excuses. No more excuses. No more excuses. No more excuses. Now you tried to build back better, but you can't build back better without us. You can't build back better You know, it could be about the fact that we have to have voting rights because our people died for the right to vote. Our people died for the right to vote. John Lewis got hit in the head for the right to vote. People have been arrested for decades over the right to vote. And so this isn't about just build back better, but you can't build back better without us. You can't build back better without voting rights. You can't build back better without our voices. And if it isn't about voting rights, then it should at least be about self-preservation. Because self-preservation means that you need the people at the polls. You shouldn't be able to be in Georgia and black people are lined up for hours and we can't bring you water and food. That's inhumane. So you can't build back better if we can't have water. You can't build back better if pastors are going to be arrested for trying to do souls to the polls. You can't build back better if there's a power grab in the states. And so now is the time. No more excuses. I'm tired, but I'm not weak. I'm tired, but I ain't going to sleep. I'm tired, but that means I'm digging in because there's no more excuses.
Next up, we have Rabbi Rick Jacobs. He is the president of the Union for Reform Judaism. And I would be remiss to say, if I didn't say to everyone, that this has been a multi-faith, multi-racial coalition working together to make sure that we can get voting rights for everybody, because injustice against one of us is injustice against all of us.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh God, we ask you to look down and see your family standing here together.
Talk to him, man.
This is what our family looks like. Every single one created in the divine image, every single one beloved by you. Everyone with a voice, everyone whose vote matters, every single one of us reflecting all that is good and true. Too often we're told it's complicated. That means it's too complicated to do anything. But it ain't complicated today.
Amen.
This is really simple. We're here because we know that voting rights is the fundamental right, and it's not only a right of democracy, it's how you made all of us. And we know that there's a tradition in America to suppress the vote. We know that. It's an ugly tradition. It's a racist tradition. And it's a tradition that we cannot let go forward anymore. 1 mile from here is the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. We're the largest movement in Jewish life, 2 million souls. In the conference room of our center, that's where the 1965 Voting Rights Act was drafted. That's because all of us believe that this democracy is worth fighting for, and that the fundamental right to vote is what keeps it whole. We know that over 400 anti-voting bills have been brought forth just in the last months alone. And they're not brought forth to keep everyone from voting. They're brought forth to keep some of us from voting. To keep black and brown and indigenous communities and young Americans and new Americans and all of us from expressing our right to vote. President Biden has been a champion for decades of voting rights, but this is a moment where it doesn't matter about yesterday. It matters about today. And we need President Biden to lean in and to take us forward and have the courage of his convictions and our convictions, because this is a moment where it matters greatly. The multiracial, multi-faith democracy that we love and need, it is in peril today because of those who fight against us, but we raise our voices today, and many of us worship a God who is impatient with injustice. It is unjust to keep some people from voting, and we will not have it, not in memory of our beloved teacher, John Lewis, who said that Voting is the most powerful, nonviolent tool that we have, and we will not let it go. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Thank you.
Now I will say that Alma, who is one of the organizers of this event, said it's funny how they always decide to mow the lawn as soon as we get to the front of the White House. You want to go up, Reverend Barber? No. Okay, so I have the honor and the privilege to introduce my friend, Reverend Dr. William Barber, Bishop Barber. This man is not only filled with love for every person, he is filled with the Holy Spirit. He has been leading voting rights efforts around the country, and most importantly, he centers people who are impacted. He would rather break bread with those who make minimum wage than those who are sitting in the Senate dining room. And that says a whole lot about who he is. Reverend Barber, will you please lead us?
Hello, family. I want you to know, first of all, in the name of God, God has gathered us in this place. I want the White House to remember that the scripture says, woe unto those who legislate evil and rob the poor of their rights and make women and children their prey. I'm so thankful for the League of Women Voters and Virginia and Ben, my dear friend. From at come points that the Spirit pulls the family together. And so on behalf of Reverend Dr. Liz Steele Harris, the Poor People's Campaign, the 43 coordinating committees, the partners, the 140 million poor and low wealth people in this country. I don't know if you know it, but in every battleground state, if just 20% of poor and low wealth people who have not voted would vote and be organized together, they could determine every election in this country. And that is the sleeping giant that they are literally afraid of. I wanted to come here today. I told Virginia I wrote something because I wanted to kind of make a teaching video that you can show anywhere, because folk need to really understand what's going on. And Mr. President, we want you to succeed and we will stand with you. But we need you to fight against the filibuster, because the filibuster is being used to fight against us and to bring down the democracy. We also need you to fight to invite us in to talk to you in the White House. You need to bring religious leaders and women activists and poor and low-wage people, the people you say you care about. You need them in the Oval Office. You've met with the senators. You've met with the corporate leaders. Now meet with us who make this country run. We need you to understand that something is happening that is trying to deny people the right to vote and deny living wages, to deny the provisions in your own Build Back Better program. It's all connected. It's not separated. Oh, that's just the devil. It's not separated. Republican extremists like McConnell changed the filibuster to put Supreme Court justices on the bench for life. Mr. President, now they, can I tell the truth? Can I tell the truth? Now they and two Democrats are using the filibuster to destroy and undermine the life of this democracy and the daily needs of people. There are three infrastructures: the infrastructure of our daily lives, which is education, health care, and wages; the infrastructure of our democracy, which is voting rights; and the infrastructure of our bridges, our roads, and technology. And we don't want some of it. We demand all of it. Mr. President, do you realize that if these plans get passed at the state level, 56 million Americans who used processes the last time in 2020 would be denied their right to vote, or the vote would be suppressed? Not just black people, but 56 million Americans. And we better understand that this effort is not just an attack on black folk. This is not just Jim Crow. This is an attack on black folk and white folk and brown folk and Latino folk and Native folk and young folk. It is an attack on the progressive voice in this country. And we have to decide, not on our watch. The filibuster is being used, Virginia, to block policies that would lift from the bottom And do you know 73 million of the 140 million poor and low wealth people in this country are women? The filibuster is being blocked by the Chamber of Commerce. Listen to me now. And the Chamber of Commerce is also blocking $15 living wages. We need to understand the unholy connection between money and greed and the denial of the right to vote. Mr. President, it's time for you to use all your weight in this office, the weight of the presidency. And if you do, the American people, as Sister Diane Bennett said, the American people will reward you with votes. But if you don't and let them stall your agenda, it will depress the electorate. Mr. President, it's time to fight. The filibuster is not constitutional, so you did not swear to uphold it. But you did swear to uphold equal protection under the law for all people. Mr. President, it's time to stand up. And lastly, let me just say, Mr. President, why you got to stand up. This is a coward filibuster. Even Robert Byrd and Strom Thurmond wouldn't use this kind of filibuster. Senator Byrd said that the filibuster should be a fight where you have to defend it. But this is a coward filibuster where you hide in an office and claim you don't have 60 votes. And two in your own party are holding up the entire Democratic platform. You can't stand for it because you're not a coward. And let me just close here. It's time to have the fight now while Nancy Pelosi is Speaker. Because if the two senators in your party want to switch, let them do it now. While Pelosi still has the House. And then let the battle cry be, they switched off, but now we're going to turn on and change the United States Senate. The filibuster was used to block anti-lynching, but the filibuster was also used to block women's suffrage. The filibuster was used to block labor laws. The filibuster was used to block civil rights laws. The filibuster was used to block equal employment opportunities. And that commission, understand, the filibuster was used to block the Consumer Protection Agency. The filibuster, Virginia, and I didn't know this till I did a footnote and I'm through. The filibuster was used to block or protect women's health from corporate interference, but the men wanted to keep Viagra in the bill. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. There's an unholy alliance between racism and sexism and classism and the pornographic sums of money behind the filibuster. And Mr. President, it's time to stop the cowards from controlling and undermining the country. 21 states with the fewest residents that make up only 11% of the total population can filibuster the whole country. That is not what democracy looks like. When John Lewis and Martin Luther King were on that bridge, at the end of it, Martin said something that we very seldom lift up, Ben. Ben, you and I have talked about it. I want you to hear something. This is what he said to Johnson and to the nation, and we need to understand this. My brothers and sisters, this is not just a black issue. Don't you make it that small. Don't marginalize this. Dr. King said, the threat, listen now, of the free exercise of the ballot by the poor Negro and the poor white masses is what created the segregated society. The white Southern aristocracy is afraid of poor whites and poor blacks and Latinos coming together. Because if they can come together and vote, they will change the economic architecture of this nation. That's the fear. And guess what? We coming. Like it or not, we're coming. Like it or not, we're not going to stop. We're going to challenge the president. We're going to challenge the Senate. We're going to challenge anybody in our way because with the right time to do right is right now. Our voting rights, our voice, our power, our strength, our ability will not be filibustered. Not now.
Not ever! Not now! Not ever! Not now! Not ever! Thank you, Bishop Barber. And next, leading more than 2 buses here, people here from Detroit, the chairman of National Action Network Detroit, Reverend Charles Williams, also a member of the African American Ministers Leadership Conference and their leadership circle, to talk to us about why this moment is so important and to tell us what those of us who are willing to risk arrest need to do next. Reverend Williams.
No justice!
No peace! No justice! No peace! What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
That's right, we want it right now, and we won't stop until we get it.
Talk to him.
We come here today from Detroit, from Cleveland, throughout the Midwest to send a clear-cut message. Does not matter whether you're Democrat, does not matter whether you're Republican. We want you to break this filibuster and get our voting rights bill, get our voting rights act, push through the House, push through the Senate, signed on the desk right now.
Right now!
And we won't stop going to jail. We won't stop risking arrest. We won't stop fighting for justice. Until justice comes, we're going to march. We're going to protest. We're going to go all through the South. We're going to put policies in our legislatures. And we're going to go to jail. And we're going to make sure we send that message loud and clear. If you can accept it, you will do something to transform the conditions here in America. If you can accept it, you will stand up and fight back. And today, we're standing up and fight back. Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight? Let me hear you say yeah. All right, for those who are ready to fight, I want you to turn around.
Not yet. They need to move to the left and the back, and everyone not risking arrest needs to stay.
If you're not risking arrest, I want you to stay right here.
Lafayette.
Right where you are. But if you are risking arrest,
Pennsylvania Avenue, they need to stay in Lafayette Park.
stay in Lafayette Park. If you are risking arrest, I need you to move this way and over to the White House. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want? Voting rights. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
And when do we want it?
Now. Let me get my vote. Voting rights.
I'm glad I'm standing close.
We have entered the risking arrest portion of today's action, and oh my goodness, it is beautiful out here. Actually, we may have more like 1,000 people out here this morning in front of the White House, calling upon President Biden and the Senate to do their jobs and protect the right to vote for every single person who lives in this country. As you can see, we have quite a few people willing to be arrested this morning. Everybody you see is about to...
We get separated. I'll call you.
Justice!
Here, if y'all can come up.
Raquel, are we?
Here, we'll have to Different Jasmine. Oh, okay. Sorry. As you can see, it's a little confused out here, but in the best way possible.
Go find Rod.
Yeah. Where's Ariana?
I'm out here to fight for the right to vote and to protect our right to vote. And that's why I'm here. I traveled all the way from California to be with other faith leaders and other activists to send President Biden a message that we need to get to work and protect the right to vote.
That's a far trip, but it's a beautiful day out here. The energy is incredible.
Yeah, it is very beautiful out here, and it's just great to be out here with fellow partners in the struggle.
There are a lot of faith leaders out here. How does your faith tie into this fight for you?
Yeah, so, Jesus ministry was tied on speaking up for the voiceless, to speak up for marginalized communities. And that's how we are able to fight for oppressed people, is by the right to vote. And right now, our right to vote is under attack by people in the Republican Party. And right now, we are asking our elected officials to act and to fight for our right to be heard.
Thank you for being here. Seriously. It really is gorgeous out here. How do you want people to find you? Do you have a Twitter or something?
Yes, Instagram at Redeem Robinson, REDEEM Robinson.
Thank you so much. Yep. So, for the first time today, you can see the crowds have just quadrupled as these actions go on throughout the month in a beautiful way. More and more people coming out every single day. As one of the organizers said, every time there's more of us. And that is 100% true. Try to talk to... Hi, Kobe.
Hello, how are you? Good.
My good friend Kobe.
How are y'all doing?
Do you want to introduce yourself to people who don't know and love you already?
My name is Kobe Owens. I'm with the Delaware NAACP. I'm also the first vice chair of the Delaware Democratic Party. I'm out here today with my friends at Black Voters Matters.
So, how does it feel to be out here? And obviously you're here for voting rights, we all are. How does this make you feel more optimistic?
This isn't my first time risking arrest, and I'm going to keep doing it. We have to keep moving. We have to keep making this a priority for everyone. Right now, my brothers and sisters, my cousins down in Georgia, in Texas, all across this nation are having their rights stripped away from them. And that's systematically wrong, that's morally wrong, and that's why we're all taking action today. That's why I'm taking action today. And we're going to continue to take action. As a state who is considered blue, we decided that we believe in voting rights, but I think every state should have that. That's why I'm taking action today. And you know what? We have to make sure that this right, this sacred right, is protected for everyone.
Here for some of the folks who are risking arrest. I'll ask Alma to please find me. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask the co-leader of Greenpeace to just say a couple of quick words about why this is so important. Ebony?
Good morning, everyone. My grandmother was born in rural Georgia in the Jim Crow South and was denied the right to vote. And here I am, her granddaughter, 50 years later, making sure that her voice, my voice, and all of our voices aren't denied. We are in two crises right now, our democracy and our climate. And right now, our democracy should be the best tool that we have to advance climate solutions. We see the politicians, we see how they have hijacked our democracy, we see the dirty money, and we are calling it out today. We will not be denied. We want change. We want Voting Rights Act passed now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but today.
That's right. That's right. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ebony. Next, we have Senator Lena Taylor from Wisconsin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ben. We are all here today because the Voting Rights Act and the right to vote is a cornerstone of our democracy. If we are going to be a nation that goes around and encourages democracy, then we need to exhibit it. I am here today because in Wisconsin in April of 2020, 165 polling locations were closed. Early voting was closed for a week. And when it was reopened, it was not reopened in the community where African Americans were. Voter suppression is not okay.
No, it's not.
In addition, we are in the middle of redistricting. There were 4 maps presented in the Senate. I stood alone saying that the Voting Rights Act protects us and gives us the right to be able to pick a candidate of our choosing. And if the maps do not reflect that, they are in violation of the Voting Rights Act. So in the spirit of John Lewis, I'm standing up today to get in good trouble. And I refuse to be quiet and to be silent. And I'm reminding the president, Mr. President, you promised. Your word must be your bond. We helped get you elected, and we are expecting you to do like you said, go to the wall for Voting Rights Act. Go to the wall for voting rights, to stand against voter suppression. So today, all of you who are with us, thank you. Because I came from Wisconsin in the Senate where I stood alone to stand with my people. The people who believe in the Voting Rights Act and who will go to the wall for it. Thank you so much. Go LenaTaylor.com.
Thank you, Senator. And now from the city that John Lewis represented, right from the front lines in Georgia, Atlanta Councilman Antonio Brown, and one of the leaders of the ACLU of Georgia.
Thank you so much, man. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Listen, I made it into the Atlanta City Council by 3 votes. 3 votes. So when they say your vote doesn't matter, it does. Okay? 80% of our city did not come out to vote in our mayoral and municipal elections. 80%. That's absolutely terrible because of the voter suppression that's happening in Georgia. So when we say no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, and a message to President Biden and to the Congress, if you do not act, we will act, and we will vote you out of office. Do you understand? We have the right to lift our voice and hold our elected officials accountable as an elected official. So let me pass it to my brother Bruce, Christopher Bruce, from the ACLU.
I'll be brief because you know why I'm here. The reason I'm here is I come from the birthplace of voting rights and civil rights, and now it looks like we're the birthplace of voter suppression. Because I can tell you what happened in Georgia is going to happen all across this nation. So if we don't stop this now, what happened to Councilmember Antonio Brown, we already have voter suppression. More people did not vote in 2020, 2021 than did in the last election. The time is now to make a stance. Let's get out here, tell President Biden, end this filibuster now and today. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. Thank you. And next we have the president of the League of Women Voters herself. Doctor, please come on up.
Hello, everybody. I would like to say we are not here for me. We are not here for you. We are here to represent, and we are going to represent every single voter in America. I want
Attention! This is Captain Evans of the United States Park Police. Because you are in violation of regulations applicable to this area under DC Code 22-1307, prohibiting crowding, obstructing, or incommoding, you must leave the White House sidewalk now by using the belt exit to their east. All persons remaining will be subject to arrest. This is your first warning.
You know, once you go back out, you came back in as press.
I'm staying here.
Okay, everybody needs to be on the sidewalk.
Without voting rights, we have no democracy, and without democracy, we have no country. So we are here today, all of us, to fight for the rights of every single one of us to have voting rights, no matter who you are, where you are. I come from the Midwest. Voting rights are affected in the Midwest right now is being challenged. Therefore, remember, your rights count, your rights count, everybody's rights count. You said no. Fight for voting rights for every American in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, I'm going to ask everybody to follow me over here. I'm going to push you to the left. I'm going to push you to the left just to comply with what's going on with the police right now. So just push everybody over here to the left. All right, you can tell them that Ben Jealous pushed you to the left. All right. And now I would like to introduce President of SEIU Local 2015, April Vera to California. Let us not forget, voter suppression laws have been introduced in 49 states and passed in over 40. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, and good afternoon, family. I am April Beretta, and I am really proud to stand before you to represent the 2 million members of SEIU across this country. More importantly, I stand here as a black woman who I live now in California, where you may think our democracy is safe, but it is not. We just had to fight undemocratic recall that is just another form of voter suppression, a stealing of our democracy, a stealing of our vote. And I hail from the south side of Chicago, where people like me are more apt to live in poverty than anyone else. And I stand here in the tradition of Sojourner Truth and Fannie Lou and Addie Wyatt and other black labor leaders to say that
will be subject to arrest. This is your second warning.
It's not enough to fight for economic justice when you don't, that your vote is going to count in the ballot box. It's not enough to fight for racial justice if you don't know that as a citizen, as a resident of this country, you can stand up and make your voice heard. So the labor movement is a part of this fight. We will not be moved. We will continue to fight for our democracy. We will continue to fight to make sure that this country lives up to the promise that it has never delivered. That this is a country that each and every one of us can say we are proud to be an American. A country that recognizes my humanity, my dignity, my worth as a worker, as a human, and as a member of this democracy. And so we stand with you forever and always, onward together.
I'm going to push the bit more.
How'd you get it here?
To the left. I know a lot of the press pushed over here. Next, we have one of the most dynamic young leaders in this country, Detroit councilperson Mary
They're
Sheffield.
supposed to go over there. We can't tell them that they
What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? And when do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it?
I've come here today to stand with each and every one of you. You know, we were told to do our part, and that was to elect this president to the United States of America. And now we are here to say that we want accountability to do your part. We know that the office of the president has power and influence. And that is what we are calling on today. In Detroit, Michigan, we have faced several voter suppression laws that we had to fight against. And I know that the people here that are from Detroit are not going to stop fighting until we get change that we know that we deserve. So I stand with each and every one of you. This is not just about our ancestors. We appreciate the fight and the struggle, but this is about our now. This is about our children. This is about our future. And so we thank each and every one of you all for coming out. Tell your friends and your families and your neighbors to join this fight. One thing that I do know is that the power of the people is always greater than the people in power. Let's continue this fight.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, we have Jana Morgan from Declaration for American Defense.
My name is Jana Morgan. I'm the director of the Declaration for American Democracy. Thank you so much for being here today. We are here to say to President Biden, no more excuses. We need to pass the Freedom to Vote Act. We need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And we need D.C. statehood to enfranchise the people of the District of Columbia. We are tired of coming out here over and over again. Mr. President, we had an unprecedented number of people come out to vote in 2020. They came out and they voted for you because you made a promise to create an American democracy that was of, by, and for the people. A promise to make our democracy actually work for all Americans, which we know it never has. We have never lived up to the promise of American democracy because we know that women and people of color, black people, brown people, indigenous people have always had to fight tooth and nail for their rights. Why are we still doing this in 2021? We should not be here begging you to make sure we can exercise our right to vote. Enough is enough. No more excuses. We need to build back better American democracy because it is not just an issue. It is the issue of right now. So we are here to demand you do your job, Mr. President. We are counting on you. Thank you for being here, everyone, and we will continue this fight until we win.
Thank you, Jana. Next, we have the fearless leader of Black Voters Matter, my fellow cellmate, Cliff Albright.
When I say black voters, you say matter. Black voters. Black voters. When I say love, you say power. Love. Love. I always like to start off talking about love and power because that's what this is all about, y'all. A lot of times when we're out here and we're talking about what we're demanding and what we want and what we're frustrated about, people forget that we are out here fundamentally because of love, right? We are out here because of love of our communities that are witnesses, suffer voter suppression and other issues. We are out here for love for one another as activists. As a matter of fact, turn to your neighbor right now and say, neighbor, I love you. Because we got to know that love is what drives us. Love is what always has driven us. And so we got to recognize that sometimes in the spirit of love, though, you got to call out folks that are supposed to be close to you and supposed to be on your side. When you got a friend that's not really leading into the things that they say they want to do and they're falling short, you got to tell them sometimes, no more excuses. We need to do better. That's love. When you got somebody who refuses to disconnect themselves from an unhealthy relationship, right? Or an unhealthy attachment to a tradition called the filibuster, sometimes you got to call that friend out and say, no more excuses. That's love, right? And so we are out here in the spirit of love, but I want to be clear that we are also out here in the spirit of power, because as Dr. King told us, power at its best is love implementing the demand. And that is why we are out here. We are out here using our power, and don't get it twisted. There's a lot of folks that want us to be afraid of our power, right? There's a lot of folks that want us to be afraid and want us to not believe that we can do some things that people are saying are possible. But I'm here to tell you, I used to live in Selma, Alabama for 10 years. Make some noise if you know a little something about the role that Selma played in the history of voting rights. And so a couple of hundred people in Selma walked on the bridge. They faced their fears, and because they did so, they changed the course of this country. Don't tell me what a couple of hundred folks can and cannot do. We've seen it in our history, and I know we got more than a couple of hundred out here today. We got power. Somebody say, we got power. And so in that spirit of power, in spite of all the fears, in spite of the announcement that they're about to do, telling us that we're about to get arrested, we stand here in our power because we are willing to put ourselves, our freedom, our lives, our bodies on the line for our voting rights. And we will always meet that challenge. Now, there might come a day where we let the fears get in our way. There There might come a day where we let these announcements and these officers out here with their weapons and their tape and all that, where we let them scare us away. But guess what? Today is not that day. There might come a day where we let people tell us that you can't beat the filibuster, you can't get the president to take action, you don't have that kind of power. That day may come where we believe that, but guess what? Today is not that day. There may come a day where we fall short of our responsibility, of our role in this historic movement to build on everything that our ancestors have done in the past. That day may come, but guess what? Today is not that day. So I need you to put a fist up in the air right now and say, I am a freedom fighter. Say, I am a freedom fighter. Once more, say, I am a freedom fighter. I love y'all. Let's hear for Black Voters Matter.
And next, we have Rob Weissman, the president of Public Citizen. Rob.
Brothers and sisters, we know that the freedom to vote is a sacred right. But it's also the key to what we need for a kind and decent and just society. I want you to engage in a little back and forth with me. For health care for all, we need the freedom to vote. To deal with inequality, we need the freedom to vote. For housing for all, we need the freedom to vote. For climate justice, we need the freedom to vote. To make sure everybody can join a union, we need the freedom to vote.
Yeah.
For clean water, we need
the freedom to vote.
To have a just and decent and fair society, we need
the freedom to vote.
To make sure that our children can live, we need
the freedom to vote.
To take down Big Pharma and deal with drug prices, we need
the freedom to vote.
For equality, we need
the freedom to vote.
For kindness and decency, we need
the freedom to vote.
For justice, we need
the freedom to vote.
For justice, we need
the freedom to vote.
For justice, we need the freedom to vote. For justice, we need the freedom to vote. Brothers and sisters, it is an honor to be with you in this struggle. Not if, when, soon, we are going to win. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. We need the freedom to vote. And next, we have the Executive Vice President of the AFL-CIO, one of the top leaders of the American labor movement, Tafari Jebre. Tafari.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Are you energized? Are you energized? Sisters and brothers, I'm here today on behalf of 57 unions who represent 12.5 million workers in this country to tell you we are 100% with you. Sisters and brothers, we need the White House to hear us. They need to know we support the Biden agenda. We need to know, they need to know we support the Build Back Better agenda. But they also need to hear us. If it comes, the choice becomes between the Biden agenda or getting rid of the filibuster, I know what I am. Dump the filibuster. If we have to get rid of the filibuster to pass the Voting Rights Act, dump the filibuster. If we need to dump the filibuster to pass workers' rights, dump the filibuster. Sisters and brothers, more importantly, if we need to dump the filibuster to protect this planet from disaster of climate change, we need to dump the filibuster. We need the president to hear us. We're here on behalf of your agenda, but you need to help us dump the filibuster to get your agenda through. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother, Executive Vice President. And now, from the front lines of this movement in Georgia, we have Elder Jane Thomas, one of the many sisters in the clergy who are here today, part of our African American Ministers Leadership Conference. Elder Thomas.
No more excuses. No more excuses. Our voting right is being attacked, and we stand firm declaring that we will recapture what is already ours. No one is giving us anything. We just come to take back what is already ours. So therefore we stand firm. We stand committed. We stand undetermined because we have come to receive what is already ours. The vote is being attacked, and we are here to take it back right now as we stand on these grounds. We will not leave our vote here. We're going to take it back right now, today.
Thank you, Elder Thomas.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me.
For all our brothers and sisters who've been arrested.
And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Come on, sing it. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Say this little light of mine.
Let's get the names of some of the folks who are being arrested.
I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light.
Maxwell Frost, Orlando, Florida.
Maxwell's running for Congress down there, and he took a break from campaigning to come up here. Maxwell, why would you risk arrest in the middle of a campaign for Congress?
Because we deserve politicians, and we deserve people who see the world through the eyes of the most vulnerable people, and are willing to do what needs to be done to ensure that folks are safe and they can live their best lives. And voting rights is a huge part of that.
Thank you, brother. It is heartening to see a young organizer on the front lines of this voting rights struggle fighting to have a voice in this Congress in the midst of what's going on with redistricting. God bless you, brother.
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Let it shine.
Next, we have a school teacher, organizer with Our Revolution, who is risking arrest.
Hi, everybody. I am so proud of everybody back here. I would gather to say that I'm probably one of the oldest people here, even though I don't look it because I've been teaching physical education in elementary school for 32 years. And I want to tell you, we don't teach CRT. I don't even know what that is. But we did with our classes and in my gym discuss racism with the little kids. Every once in a while I'd get called to the principal's office and she'd say, cut it out. But we persisted. The new generation needs to know what the struggle is about, because I'm afraid that if we don't win it now, the next generation is going to have to fight it all over again from the beginning. So we have to stand fast, and teachers are with you. We are with you. NEA is just down the street, and all 2.5 million of us are with you.
Thank you, and thank you for your courage in getting arrested today. And next we have Charlie Carter, the leader of the Democracy and pulling together the labor movement, the civil rights movement, the environmentalist movement, all to fight for voting rights. Charlie Carter.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out here today. We started coming out here in August, and here we are 3 months later, and there's been no movement. But it also occurred to me today that it's about a year ago, at this time, we started seeing the newest wave of voter suppression laws come out of the states in response to the November 2020 election. We are almost a year later, and there has been no movement on voting rights. That's not right. It's been 6 months since before the PEOPLE Act was passed. We came out and warned our leaders that this was an important time back then, 6 months ago, that we needed them to take immediate, urgent action to protect the right to vote. That ain't right. We came out here a couple months ago, and the Freedom to Vote Act was filibustered. And we came out here and we stood outside the White House and we said, President Biden, this is your Lyndon Johnson moment. Use your office to protect our democracy. As Bishop William Barber said, this is not a black issue. It's not a brown issue. It's not a young issue. It's an America issue, because voting rights is the cornerstone of a democracy. And if we are about protecting our democracy, then we need urgent action, not sometime action, not maybe we'll get around to it action, not well, we'll think about it action, not let's see what the other side has to say about it action. It is about action right now. Right now, we have declared war in a shorter time to protect our democracy. What is it if we are not at war for our democracy right now, when people's rights to vote, their most fundamental right, is being stripped away systematically in an organized, well-funded way? We cannot wait. There's no more excuses. President Biden, if you don't know the way to the White House, there's 100 people out here risking arrest that are willing to show you the way. Come outside, walk down to the Capitol the same way you did for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, because there is no more bipartisan issue than the right to vote in America. Voting rights now.
Thank you, Charlie. Next, hand us back to Ms. Solomon, CEO of the League of Women Voters.
Is everybody ready to hear some more speakers while we have these arrests continue? Yeah. They say that the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. And we have seen far too much indifference from this Congress and from this administration. And we need them to act now. Joining us today from the Workers' Circle is the CEO, Ann Toback, who's going to introduce one of our youth speakers.
Thank you. We are here. Can I get a we are here? We are here. Today, I am here on behalf of the Workers' the founders, Eastern European Jewish immigrants who came to the United States escaping violence, escaping persecution, and looking for the safety of a democracy by and for the people. They came here and since 1900, we have stood with our brothers and sisters across the country and fought for that democracy and fought for the ideals that it should be. Today, the democracy is under attack. Millions of voters are going to be suppressed if we don't take steps, if President Biden doesn't take steps. So the Worker Circle is here to say in Yiddish, Mir seinen do. We are here. We are here today, tomorrow, and we are going to hold President Biden and the Senate to their promises to pass voter rights bills now. And we are also here with our next generation of activists. And it is my great pleasure to introduce Noah Barron, our college organizer, who has brought a contingent from across the country, from New York here to D.C. Noah Barron.
Hello, everyone. Today I am angry. Our democracy is under attack by elected lawmakers in the Republican Party. How dare they? How dare they try and squelch our democracy? How dare they try to silence millions of voters of color? How dare they try to overturn elections and threaten violence? How dare they? Jewish people know what a slide into fascism looks like, and we refuse to allow democracy to be ripped out from under us. I'm here today because I'm angry, but even more, I'm here today out of love. Love for all the people in this nation, love for all the black activists who've been fighting this fight for decades. They've known for a long time, longer than I have been alive, that voting rights are the foundation we need to make this multiracial nation a true democracy. And love for all the student activists who came before me, who have always played a role in protecting our democracy. And love for all the student activists who are here today, who are missing reviews and exams and course registration, because they know that right now the future of democracy needs us. I am here out of love for the better future we are building together right here, right now. Because I believe that this country can be something beautiful. I believe that we can build what is known in Yiddish as a beshere Welt, a more beautiful world. President Biden, I believe you believe in that idea of a more beautiful world, and so we call on you to act. We are counting on you for more than just words. Use the power of your office to end the filibuster and advance the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Protect our democracy and help us build a beshere Welt, a more beautiful world for all.
Thank you, Noah, the Worker Circle. Please give a round of applause for everybody who is being arrested today. This is the most massive crowd we've had. For the arrest, there was 5 people, and then it was 25 people, and then it was 62 people, and this is going to be way over 150 people. So thank you to everyone for putting your body on the line, standing up for our democracy. Next we have Matt Terrelli, Managing Director of Indivisible.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for being here. I'm here representing thousands of indivisible groups across the country, in every state and every congressional district, and they're in this fight with you for a representative democracy. This is our top issue. This is our top focus. We can't win the country that we need without a real democracy. That's why we need voting rights now. All of us are in this fight, and all of those indivisible groups across the country are in this fight. But President Biden is not in this fight yet. President Biden needs to join us in this fight. He needs to do what it takes to get these bills passed, to get the Freedom to Vote Act passed, and that means getting rid of the filibuster. That means pushing Democrats in the Senate to get this done. We're going to keep coming back every day, and indivisibles are going to keep showing up across the country until we pass these bills, until we have the freedom to vote, and until we win. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And next we have Wanda Mosley from Black Voters Matter. Wanda?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Wanda Mosley. I'm the National Field Director of Black Voters Matter. Come on. Woo! Can't even begin to tell you how proud I am to stand with so many people who are risking their bodies here today because they know how important our right to vote is, and they know that it is under attack. But I need you to understand what is at stake at this time and moment and in this place. We are living in a world where, as black and brown people, we cannot get clean drinking water. Do you understand that there are people in Denmark, South Carolina, that have to take jugs to a stream and fill them regularly to bring back to their homes because the water that runs through their pipe is brown? Not only is it not drinkable, they can't even bathe in that water on some days. Do you understand that there are people in Texas this last spring who suffered a storm that took out all the power, that busted pipes, that didn't have clean drinking water? Those mamas with their babies in the park with jugs, filling them with water so that they can wash and clean themselves. But at the same time, you got lawmakers in Texas who are more worried about what I can do with my body. They're so busy in my business that's between me and my doctor, but you can't keep your state on the grid after a storm? You can't keep clean drinking water for mamas and their babies? And then if you travel on up to Benton Harbor, Michigan. See, they're not filling jugs in Benton Harbor, Michigan, but they are coming to pick up cases of water, dropped pallet after pallet by the state, because the state has failed so many people to give them clean drinking water, healthy water. All of this happens at the same time when a white boy in Wisconsin can murder 2 people, then go see police and they hand him a bottle of water. But myself in Georgia, my people from Protect the Vote, my friend Marion Warren in Sparta, in Hancock, Georgia, our people in Coffee County, in Lawrence County, in Thomas County, all across the state of Georgia. When we go to the polls and we see people who have been in line 6, 8, 9 hours, we risk arrest for offering them a bottle of water. All of this is because the people in power know they are losing power. And they are fearful that when we take back power, when we take this power, they are fearful that we don't do to them what they've been doing to us for centuries. But we ain't got time for that. Because see, we got to go fix all these things that they broke, that they neglected. We know we need clean drinking water. We know we need health care. We know we need better schools. So we don't have time to be playing these games. President Biden, when you were a candidate, when your candidacy for president was struggling, and as my boss and my mentor, Latasha Brown, said, before the black voters in South Carolina pulled a Lazarus and raised your campaign for the dead, you told us you would fight like hell for voting rights. Mr. President, where are you? What are you doing? When are you going to start fighting like hell? I see you sitting in the office. I saw you fight like hell for Build Back Better. I saw you fight like hell to get things under control with vaccines, and we thank you for that. But sir, you have not even begun to fight, let alone fight like hell for my right to vote. So I need you to understand that the voters in Georgia, we risked our lives in a pandemic. There was no vaccine. And we came out and we voted because our lives depended on it. Our very existence depended on it. We voted because I want to have the right to jog down the street and not get gunned down like a dog and then have to sit and watch my murderers walk. So President Biden, understand, we are not done with you, sir. We are here to tell you we are sick and tired of the excuses. No more excuses. We are not going to bargain for our right to vote. We are not going to negotiate for our right to vote.
and you passed the Freedom to Vote Act so we can get on with the business of this country. Thank you.
Ronald Mosley, Black Lives Matter. You know, the rising tide of white supremacy in this country is real. Nowhere has it been more visible recently than the streets of Charlottesville, Virginia. Dr. Wes Bellamy of the City Council in Charlottesville distinguished himself then, has continued to distinguish himself in standing up for a truly inclusive democracy. I bring to you Dr. Wes Bellamy of the Charlottesville City Council. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I said good afternoon.
I'll be very honest. I'm not coming in the same spirit of some of the predecessors and earlier speakers. I'm not coming in the spirit of love. I'm coming in the spirit of frustration. I'm coming in the spirit of tired of being sick and tired. I'm coming in the spirit of an individual who sits in the White House, who prior to being elected called me on my phone, said, hey, we got to do everything that we can to make sure we get everybody out to vote because there's a white supremacist that's currently sitting in the White House. Those promises and those values and those things that he said he would deliver on has yet to come to fruition, and I'm frustrated. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you all as if I can be happy-go-lucky when I see white supremacists not only walk through my streets, but up and down ballot boxes and take out people like our delegate Josh Cole in Virginia. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm going to be walking and operating in love when I see individuals who care very little about the people who look like me pretending and pontificating as if they're doing what they should be doing when we know they're not doing a damn thing. I'm not going to pretend as if I'm happy or I'm in love with it. I'm frustrated. But now the question has to become, what are we going to do? I refuse to allow the frustration that I have to consume me to do nothing. I refuse to allow the frustration that I have, the frustration that I believe many of us have, to allow us to just sit on the sideline. We know that the individuals who are here are willing to risk what we have to do in order to get to where we need to be. So now the question becomes, who we bring with us? Not just the individuals who are here at the park, but when you go back home to Detroit, when you go back home to Charlottesville, when you go back to Baltimore, when you go back to D.C., when you go back to your neighborhood, how much energy will you spend to bring someone else with you? Where's the sacrifice that we're going to be able to bring forth the change that we're looking for? Those words aren't always popular. Doing the extra work is not always fun. Being lied to doesn't feel good. But I refuse to allow another voting cycle to take place like the one we just saw in Virginia or the one that may be coming up in 2022. The option of us sitting out the game is not one that we can take on. However, being taken for granted is not something else that we can allow to happen. I say to President Biden and anyone else who is like him, if you refuse to adhere to the values and promises that you made for us, you will pay for it. I say to the individuals who are standing not only in the Senate and in the Congress, who refuse to take advantage of the individuals who are speaking up and voting and consistently showing up for them. If they refuse to do what they have to do for us, you will pay for it. Some individuals will say, well, what you gonna do? Where else you got to go? We have state elections that we can look at. We have local elections that we can look at. We have groundwork, grassroots community organizing that we can do. There's opportunities and there's work for all of us to take advantage of, because before I see another white supremacist who looks like the one in a KKK robe or the one who puts on a robe and a suit, I won't just stand idle. Before I allow another individual like that to take advantage of our community or our people, we'll stand up and fight back. I want to encourage each and every single one of you as I close to do one thing. Refuse to walk in fear. Fear will allow you to only do what you've always done. Fear will push you to continue to vote for individuals who have only lied to you since their existence. Fear will make you think that you don't have anywhere else to go. Fear will make you think that you can no longer work in your community. Fear will make you think that this is all for naught. Fear will make you hate your brother and your sister. But I encourage you to overcome that fear. I encourage you to fear ye not.
I encourage you to do what you have to do for not only yourselves and your family, but for your specific community. And when we do that, and that alone, that's when we'll see the change. Power to the people.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm going to ask the line to just kind of spread down to the left. Just an even stretch along the White House gate. We have been joined. We'll make sure that we get a mic to him. He's in the crowd right by the speakers in blue hat. We've been joined by Joe Madison. He was a leader in the anti-apartheid struggle who was arrested repeatedly. He's been arrested here with us repeatedly. His voice is one of the clearest on American radio today, calling out for justice every day. Last week, a mortgage broker in Detroit called me and said all anybody was talking about at the office was that Joe Madison had announced that he would not eat until Joe Biden finally called on the Senate to clear a path for an up or down vote on voting rights. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Madison.
You would think I would know how to operate a mic. Let me point out something. I always start with history. 1877, Rutherford B. Hayes cut a deal with white Southerners in order to remove federal troops out of southern states, former slave states. The 14th, 15th, and 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment in part gave former slaves the right to vote. And when Rutherford B. Hayes cut that deal, the first thing they went after was the vote. And all hell broke loose. The Klan, the South Carolina, they ended up getting rid of black legislators. They ended up assassinating black elected officials. And that was the end of the first Reconstruction. We are now on the verge of seeing the end of the second Reconstruction. There would not be any voter suppression laws being posed or proposed in these 49 states if they weren't afraid of our vote. Let's make that clear. We turned Georgia from ruby red to sky blue. We took care and brought it in Pennsylvania. They are after our vote because they know they cannot win. They cannot win. We turned out even in a pandemic, and we voted in record numbers. But let me say this. Even if your forefathers weren't slaves, they didn't come just after black people. They lynched even our allies. This is not just about the black vote. This is about veterans who, if they drive up to a voting place in Georgia, they tried to pass a law. You can't even bring the ballot out to somebody in a car. Hell, if you were in line and it was a hot summer day or a hot day, and you decided as a group, we're going to bring out water to people, you could be arrested if they had to wait. And in some states, if they don't like what the turnout was or the results were, they can get rid of the election officials. Now, my message is very clear. People said, why are you now on the 11th day of a hunger strike? I have promised, in the spirit of my friend, my mentor, who I miss terribly, Dick Gregory. I've been on hunger strike, and if these folks in Congress, and if the president thinks I'm kidding, one of the longest times I went without solid food was for 3 months. So I'm telling all of them right now, just like you're serious, I'm serious. And the reason is, 50 years from now, I've got 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and a great-grandchild. I'll be damned if I'm going to have them asking, what did you do when they curtailed your vote? Because all hell will break loose with this crowd we've got in the Senate. And Biden make it clear. I'm just going to say it. Quit talking shit. You know, and you ministers, just pray for me. Just, and get this through. The filibuster, we don't need it, didn't need it, and quit talking stuff and get it done. Look, just as solid food, wait a minute, just as solid food is essential for life. Understand, the vote is essential for democracy. It is essential for democracy. And that's why we're here. That's why Ben Jealous is doing what he's doing. That's why these folk are going over there and do what you're doing. And I can tell you, we've got to have our clothes. We've got to have more than a moment. We have to have a movement. And the difference between a moment and a movement is sacrifice. There are people who sacrifice their lives, their jobs, they sacrifice their church. All movements require sacrifice. So make this more than just a moment. Next time, it should be twice as large. And I close by saying, they go on recess on Friday. They're going home. They're going to have a plate full of turkey and mashed potatoes and whatever. My plate is going to be empty. I'm not going to eat. And I'm going to tell you why. While they're at home, let them think about the fact that we appreciate being in this country. But this country would not be what it is if it was not for that vote that we have. And to Joe Biden, finally, I know you had a big ceremony the other day. I know you did. But you better remember something finally. We put that pen in your hand. We put that pen in your hand. That pen would not have been in your hand had we not gone out and vote. God bless y'all.
Thank you, Tom.
God bless you.
Let's give a round of applause for a brother who's on the 11th day of not eating solid food. Hunger strike for voting rights, Joe Madison. Yeah, I cannot imagine that there is a state whose Democratic Party is more proud of Joe Biden than his home state of Delaware. I bring to you the Vice Chair of the Delaware Democratic Party, Mr. Cliffy Owens, leader of the state NAACP.
Thank you, everyone. Look, I am honored to be out here, but I am not happy. What we are doing right now is standing up for voting rights for our brothers and sisters, our cousins all across this country. I'm a proud Delaware Democrat. I'm the first vice chair of the Delaware Democratic Party. The party that initially put Joe Biden in office all those years ago, over 40 years ago. And he knew when he worked with my uncle, the first black state senator in Delaware, what civil rights and what voting rights meant. And I think down deep in his heart, he knows what is right. But he is scared to come out and show it right now. And he is paying to 2 Democrat senators for states that do not stand with them on this issue. Both Arizona and West Virginia are on our side for voting rights. Delaware Democrats up and down the state, from the city of Wilmington to Georgetown to Dover, have all made it very clear that we want to see the filibuster ended, and we want to see voting rights advanced here in the USA and in the House.
religion, saying that this is our time for fight. Joe Biden, you know me, you know my family. I'm telling you to do the right thing. Stand on the side of the people and stand with us today. We want voter rights now. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Well, thank you. And next I pray. Good afternoon. Somebody asked me, why are you here? Somebody asked me, why would you risk arrest? I'm here because I have an understanding of history. I'm here because I know what people have done. I come here from Atlanta, Georgia because I watched us work diligently to turn that state blue. And I refuse to stand by and allow all of our efforts to go down the drain because someone refuses to step up and support our right to vote. I cannot speak to you about what you must do, but I'm going to take this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge every right that I come in contact with, and because I represent not only a church, but I represent a union of churches, we have the ear of thousands of people. And I want to say to our president that those thousands of people have stood at corners and voted for you. We stood there and supported you because you made us some promises. You told us that you would be there behind us to strengthen us, but we haven't seen anything. And I want to say now that because we haven't seen anything, we've got to do something. I've got to go back home to Atlanta and face a congregation that expects me to hold the president accountable. And I'm saying to everyone out here, we've got to hold him accountable. We cannot be silent. We cannot close our mouths. I decree that I will no longer be silent. And I'm calling on you to join me and no longer be silent.
That's right.
Our ancestors, the blood of our ancestors, saturates the ground because we were willing to get in good trouble. The blood of our ancestors runs through the veins of those that set on us. We experienced water being thrown at us, and I refuse to be quiet. I need some people out here today who refuse to be quiet, who refuse to be silent. Bring your handcuffs, bring your arrest warrant. We refuse to be quiet. We want action. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Now!
No justice. No peace. When the Lord comes, He will be ours. He will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, the glory. Oh, the glory. Oh, talking about the glory is ours. Hey, glory. Oh, glory. Hey, glory. Hey, glory. Oh, glory.
moment became known as the Boston Massacre. And those men would be assailed and tortured by none other than John Adams, for being poor whites, mulattoes, and blacks. And when the dust settled on the revolution, the classes of men that they represented, none of them were white. Not blacks, not mulattoes, and not white men, not old men. In fact, poor white men in America were not given the right to vote until the 1840s. From Boston, one of the cradles of American democracy, I pray to you, Pastor Jacob.
Well, I want to thank you guys all for being here in solidarity and support, because we believe that voting matters, representation matters, and it is time for our voices to turn into actionable steps. We have voted for these elected officials who have gone to the polls, who have knocked on doors, but it is time to put not only their money, but their action where their words have been. It is time for the president and elected officials who are part of this cabinet to once and for all deliver on voting rights. Not tomorrow, today, right now. We are asking this right now. I'm here joining from the New Democracy Coalition in Boston, because voting rights matter, because we are all young people together, and because we are foolish enough to believe that we can actually make a difference in this world. And may we continue to be foolish enough to believe, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done. It is time for change, and change looks like you, like you, like you, like all of us. We are the change we are looking for, and the time is now. The time is today. Old, young, white, black, Latino, Asian, everybody, we deserve voting rights and protection. And we will do this together. Thank you.
Thank you for risking arrest with us. Why don't we go down here for a second, talk to some of the folks who will be arrested next. Today we have over double the number of people arrested as last time. Let's hear what some of these folks are from. So you, tell me where you're from. Thank you, Murray, for coming up right from the front line just down in Florida. You, sir? Thank you for being here, brother. Good pictures in the sweatshirt. I'm Josh. I'm in Connecticut. Thank you for being here, Josh. I'm Michael from New Jersey. Thank you, Michael, part of the Workers' Circle to protect the book in Georgia. Thank you. Tell Stacy we say what's up.
Hey, I'm Brittany. I'm the other co-founder. What's up?
Hey, hot runners in the house. Thank you for being here.
Everybody, I'm the third co-founder of Protect the Vote, and we just want to say protect the vote!
We have Morehouse men in the house, the College of Dr. King. Thank you. You, sir, for Protect the Vote.
My name is Nicholas. I'm also from Protect the Vote in Birmingham.
Right. We need more courageous photographers and Alabama's in the house. One of our great leaders from the South and the ACLU, please tell us your name again and where you're from exactly. Chris Bruce, Atlanta, Georgia. Raising a red so we can get the right to vote. Thank you, Chris. The Detroit chapter of the National Action Network has been especially courageous. You should tell us your name and why you're here today. Thank you, brother. Amen, brother. Thank you for being here to stand up for Jesus.
I'm Christine. I'm here from Syracuse, New York, and I'm here to protect the freedom to vote.
Thank you, Christine.
Amy Freetown, here from Maryland.
That's an awesome name. You're a free child and I'm jealous. Thank you for being here.
DC, I'm here for a second to ask my neighbors who don't have a vote.
Thank you, sister.
Mr. Jaffe, proud resident for 23 years in Washington, D.C., representing D.C. Vote, which we are the capital of the free world. We've been to preach about voting rights, democracy elsewhere. Damn well better do it right here.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Sally Roberts, I'm from West Virginia, and I'm here to say this is your bill, Senator Manchin, the Freedom to Vote Act. It's time that you get it over the goalpost, over the finish line, into the end zone. You were a football age or you were a senator. Get your bill over into the end zone. Let's see your best.
You know, Joe, I get the sense Sally knows where you live. Much better for her to be bringing you a pie than picking you.
Hey, my name is Cece, and I'm here from DC.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, sister.
I'm Sandy Swanson from DC, from the United Church of Christ, and I'm here because of my faith.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning, I'm Jeanette Sutherland with the Golden Hooters. I'm a proud DC resident that's been fighting for voter rights for 20 plus years now, and now is the time. We got to do it. President Biden, get it done now. There's no more excuses. We're here to take it all. That's right.
When the league is picketing outside your White House, you should probably pay attention.
Reverend Brian Edwards from St. Stephen's Saving Church in Winchester, Virginia. And we certainly are here for a lot of things, but when you look at it and it boils down to one thing, equal justice for everyone. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Pastor.
I'm Terry Fitzgerald from Baltimore, and I'm here because I'm just trying to believe that this system should not just be torn down. I want somebody to prove to me that it's worth keeping going, and that's what these guys should be doing. Because otherwise, it's just going to collapse, and maybe it should.
Well, let's pray it doesn't. Let's keep fighting to preserve our democracy. Thank you, brother. Amen. Thank you, sister.
I'm Alex. I'm here from Ward 4 DC. I'm here with DC Vote today for state for the District of Columbia.
Thank you, sister.
Teresa from Tacoma Park, Maryland. And everybody should be able to vote really easily.
Thank you. I appreciate my fellow Marylanders being here to stand up for the right to vote across this country.
My name is Kevin. I'm from Washington, D.C. And I'm here because D.C. statehood is a racial justice issue, and it's important to protect voting rights, to fortify our democracy, and make progress on the issues that we care about.
The late, great Julian Bond would wholeheartedly agree, sir. Thank you for being here.
Voting rights for all.
Amen. You know, Chuck Grassley's mom was in the league. Just a reminder, when the league is picketing outside your White House, you should really listen, Mr. President.
Yeah, my name is Ann Hoffman. I'm here from Washington, D.C. Been standing up for the rights of the people here for 20 years, and I guess I'm getting tired of it. It's time to make us a state and let us go about our business.
Amen. Make D.C. a state and let it go about its business. Amen. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Austin. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Prince George County. I marched in the 60s as a student, and now I'm here as a grandmother, fighting for the rights of my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. And you talking about that, senior red and white. My grandmother is the oldest Delta in the country, turned 105 this week. And she is with us in spirit. Her grandfather was one of the last blacks to serve in the Virginia legislature during Reconstruction. Thank you. We do not have to keep on fighting for this.
Hi, I'm Jessica from Harford County. I'm representing Freedom of Voters.
Thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm from DC. I'm here representing Indivisible, and I'm here to fight until we have a real democracy of fighting for everyone.
Thank you for getting arrested with us, brother. Appreciate the solidarity.
My name is Liz Golden. I'm a state representative from Rochester, Minnesota. I'm here because our democracy is at stake. There's so much work we need to do, but we cannot do that work if everyone does not have the freedom to make their voice heard. So we need to be
ensure that everyone has the ability to make their voice heard and exercise their right to vote.
Thank you. Thank you.
In honor of DC resident here to get DC statehood, as President voting rights, I want to thank every team these voting rights for everyone out here.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for upping the style, too.
Hi, I'm from NYU.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down from NYU.
I'm State Delegate Joshua Cole, representing the 28th House District in Virginia. I'm here because Virginia was the first Southern state to pass a Voting Rights Act. Our ancestors and those who went on before us, this is not a sprint, y'all, this is a marathon. And this is the last leg of the race. We are here to take the baton to say, we are not passing it any longer. We are going to push our legislators to pass that federal act to protect voting rights today and forevermore. God bless you.
God bless you. Where is the 28th District?
City of Fredericksburg and Stafford County.
You're right on the front line. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you.
Hello, Isaiah Wilson with the mighty 2 million workers of the Service Employees International Union. We are here to say that voting rights, there's no workplace democracy, there's no economic justice, there's no racial justice. We need strong federal voting rights protections across this country, and that's why we're here.
All right. First, we heard from one of the leaders in Joe Biden's home Democratic Party. Now we're hearing from the workers of SEIU. We decode that for you. You don't really become president as a Democrat without SEIU. So thank you for being here.
Hi, Maria Peralta, SEIU. I'm here because worker rights and voting rights are two sides of the same coin. And we gotta keep on fighting.
That's right.
Thank you for what you do and thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Ashley Dwyer. I'm with SEIU, and I say everything my brother and sister just said, and also that you can't have economic justice without racial justice, and voting rights without any racial justice.
Yeah.
Amen. We never signed up for work without rights. They call that slavery.
Hi everybody, my name is Raisa, all the way from Miami. And I wanted to say that we can't have an authentic democracy without our voting rights.
Thank you, Raisa.
To some students from NYU that are here as part of the large Workers' Circle delegation. Ariana from NYU. Give it up for Ariana.
My name is Ariana Juarez, and I am the daughter of 2 immigrant parents who came to this country looking for a beacon of hope and looking for a democracy that represented their ideas and their culture, and that is exactly what America is supposed to be. When voting rights are under attack, our democracy
Thank you. Hi, I'm Leah, and I'm also a student from NYU. Thank you, Ariana. That was beautiful. I'm here because I want to be proud to be an American. And America is a democracy, and democracies should be by the people, for the people, not by the corporations for the people. And so I'm here to support this act because of its campaign finance reform, which I know is not the most sexy issue, but it will help get corporate money out of our politics, because we elect our government, not corporations. So we need this matching to small donors, and we need to get dark or soft money, as they call it, out of our campaigns. So thank you so much, and I hope we can keep this up.
Thank you, thank you. Let's hear it for our young people missing school, stand up for the right to vote. They may not even be old enough, some of them, to get in the ballot box yet, or may not have voted yet, but they know this is about their future. And next I want to bring up one of the fearless, quiet warriors in the fight against the corrupting influence of money on our vote. You know, it was funny, when we started pushing what is now the Freedom to Vote Act, the Koch brothers had a convening of all their experts, and their experts were caught on type saying, you know, not even Republicans want billionaires to buy their elections. Charlie Cooper from Maryland on the front line of the fight to get money out of politics.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Charlie Cooper, the convener of For the People of Maryland and the president of Get Money Out Maryland. And we're here to support the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and D.C. statehood. All right! Wanda was up here a little while ago, and she told us they don't want us to take power, but we're gonna take power. And this is what we're gonna win, in addition to D.C. statehood. Right now, the politicians pick the people. We're going to end the poisonous, polarizing, gerrymandering system where partisans pick their voters. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to shine a disinfecting light of disclosure on the dirty, dark money that corrupts our politicians. That dirty, dark money is why we don't have clean water for people, and we don't have health care, and we don't have good education. We're going to get rid of that dirty, dark money. We're going to balance the balloting by ensuring that everyone has the same access to be on the ballot and to vote. And we're going to protect the popular election. You know, we didn't always have popular elections. We had the Senate picked by state legislatures, but the people rose up, and now we have popular elections for that. But now we have people trying to subvert the popular election by changing the results after the people voted. We're going to get rid of that by passing the Freedom to Vote Act. So Joe Biden has to step up right now and get his senators together. Come on, Joe, you got to step up now. Now. And all of us have to step up and stay up until we win this. We got to bring more people, our friends and neighbors and relatives, to events like this until we win. Thank you.
All right. Woo!
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for the work you do. And next, we have my brother from the Franciscan Action Network, part of Faithful Democracy. He is here today with several Catholic sisters, several nuns. On the very first day, the very first arrests, the first person arrested was a Catholic nun named Quincy Howard. The police removed her veil, just like they cut off Noelle D'Amico's wedding ring when she couldn't remove it. There's violence done. I want to thank the officers who are here today for being so peaceful and respectful. We know this is tough work. We also know that across this country there are millions of Catholics who stand with us in this fight. I bring to you our brother from the Franciscan Action Network.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to take my sign. My name is Jason Miller with the Franciscan Action Network. Shout out to my colleagues right there. Shout out to my Faithful Democracy Coalition members. People of faith here from West Virginia that drove to risk arrest. There's all sorts of people of faith. And as a person of faith and a Franciscan heart individual, I know that Joe Biden is a Catholic. He just met with the Pope. They looked very happy to see each other. A little bit more happy the Pope did than the last president that he met. And Pope Francis tells us we must meddle in politics. And I know that President Biden, he needs to listen to the Pope. Joe, you need to meddle in politics. I know that in Delaware you were educated by nuns, Franciscan nuns. We have some here in the crowd today. And we're here to tell you, Joe, that you need to meddle in politics. And we need to get voting rights now. We need to get big money out of politics. And we need DC statehood. So what do we want? Voting rights. When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Voting rights!
When do we want it?
Now!
Joe, listen to us. You're a good Catholic. Let's get this done. Let's meddle in politics.
Thank you, brother. You know what a pastor once said to me? That he would keep politics out of his preaching if he could get the plumbing fixed without politics in his city. Now, next, I want to bring to you one of the great young leaders in this democracy fight, Ms. Beller, from the democracy team at Public Citizen. Ms. Beller.
Thank you, Ben. Hi, my name's Ilana Beller. I'm with Public Citizen. I am here risking arrest today because my grandfather, who I love, who is still alive at 93 years old, is a survivor of the Holocaust. His entire family, aside from one sister, was killed in the camps in Germany. This is what happens when we let democracy die, when we let democracy go to waste, when an autocrat takes over. It is our job as American citizens to stand up while we can, right now, and do everything in our power to ensure that every American has a voice. I am here to protect the voices of my fellow American citizens because I believe that every single person in this country deserves to have their voice heard, deserves to cast their vote, and we also need protections in place so that our democracy remains strong, so that our country and our democracy can thrive. So thank you very much for being here today. I'm going to pass it back to Ben now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beller. And now, from Richmond, Virginia, very much on the front lines, I want to put this in perspective. Incoming Governor Youngkin, when he was candidate Youngkin, went to a rally for Donald Trump where they held up a flag from the insurrection, a flag that was held while the insurrectionists beat police officers and sought to kill members of Congress. And they pledged allegiance to it. And Donald Trump explained that Glenn Youngkin represented every ambition they have for Virginia. And Glenn Youngkin, after pledging allegiance to that flag, said, "Thank you very much." From Richmond, Virginia, Lyric.
Hello. So, I'm a writer, and I just had this really short thing. I wonder about my own physical courage at a time like this. How much longer can I hang back on the sidelines, looking away from the threat that is right in front of me? I could say that I'm literally above it all, the looting, the fighting. I'll give myself the justification that I'm active in different, yet equally meaningful ways. I need to perform like being here right now, with concrete actions, as well as the words I love so well. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you, sister. All right.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, Lyric. It's the regular people standing up. It's the only thing that changes our democracy. It's everyday folks. Writers, poets, workers, students, janitors, business leaders coming together and saying, I may not even agree for, but I'll protect your right to vote until the end. This is about first principles of a democracy. Your democracy doesn't exist if your neighbor's right to vote is suppressed. And next from Broward County, Florida, I bring to you Lady Liberty herself.
Thank you. My name is Lori Woodward Garcia. I'm here on behalf of Broward for Progress and Florida Voices for Progress. And I dress today as Lady Liberty because there is no justice, but there's no liberty without justice. And in my state today, lawmakers are trying to pass anti-mask and anti-vaccine laws. In addition to all the horrible things they'll be cooking up in January, trying to ban voting drop boxes, extended hours, and so much more. So it's my job, not only as a community member, but as a mom. You know, I am supposed to feed, clothe, shelter, love, and educate my child, but I also have a job as an American mom, and that is to fight for my child's democracy. Joe Biden, there is no other time. The time is now. We need voting rights protected now. Please do your job like all of us out here fighting for democracy. We need you to speak loudly, not just for this country, but around the world. Be a beacon of hope. That's what democracy is. We're not just fighting for this country, we're fighting for countries around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I bring up Jeremy Thompson from Boston. Great organizers, made it all the way down here, again, for one of the cradles of our democracy. Jeremy.
I know y'all just heard my brother Jacob speak, so I don't know how I'm going to go after that. But for the people who look like me, I just want to say, when we talk about black voters, man, it goes deeper. We talk about black finances, man. Black wealth matters, black abundance matters, black prosperity matters, black community matters, black unity matters, black people matter. So me and Jacob have embarked on the journey of trying to consolidate black voices so that we can consolidate black generational wealth and black prosperity in Boston. We're calling it the Boston Black Agenda. We're starting a pact. We are trying to introduce political power and the reality of it to members of our community and make that accessible to everyone. Black people, it has been time for us to stand up. Our ancestors' blood runs through the bricks, every wood, every piece of wood, every piece of gravel on the ground. It has been time. I'm so glad to see everyone here. Keep up the good fight on our 20th day of protest when our voices go raspy. Know that our ancestors can still hear us from their graves. Know that Sankofa is still an icon that they look up to. Know that Sankofa is still an icon we can look up to, and from our pastors. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Bringing the heat from Boston. All right, why don't we have an incredible choir here singing freedom songs. Why don't we raise their voices?
They want you to sing something. Keep on singing. Yeah, they're getting it together.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours.
Turn it up so the president can hear it.
One day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Glory. Oh, glory. Glory. Hey, glory. Glory. Oh, glory. Glory. Oh, glory. Glory. Hey, glory. Glory. One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours. It'll be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the glory comes, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, hey, glory.
One day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Glory, 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 yeah, glory.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Everybody sing this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, yeah. Oh, this little light of mine, everybody sing. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yeah. Everywhere I go, hey, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere that I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine. Say everywhere that I go, everywhere I go, it don't matter, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. You wanna let it shine everywhere. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine that God gave me, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it. This little light of mine that God gave me, I'm gonna let it shine. He gave me a voice and I'm gonna let my voice shine.
Sisters and brothers, you know, across the country right now, young people are in office in states where their voting rights of their constituents are being assaulted, where they're making it harder for them to hold on to their seats, where they're redistricting in ways that are highly partisan. They're violating basic tenets of our Constitution. There's a movement of young elected officials across this country, led by the Young Elected Officials Network. One of their leaders is with us today, Marcus Batchelor. Marcus is also a leader here in D.C. and a former elected official himself. Marcus, can you talk to us about sisters and brothers who are really on the front line representing their communities in a moment when their communities are under assault in so many states?
Sure, thanks, Ben. And let's, everybody in the park, let's give a round of applause to everybody risking arrest. every single time we've showed up to the White House, from states like Georgia and Wisconsin and Tennessee, across our country, to let folks know that while they're working so hard to keep their promise to their constituents, Joe Biden cannot break his promise to all the American people to stand up for the right to vote. So many folks in our network are the first or the youngest, the first woman, the first person of color, the youngest person ever elected, the first person from a marginalized community, the first person to come out of poverty to serve in their elected office. And we know that that matters for our democracy. But we know that those stories of overcoming struggle to lead in your community don't happen on their own. They happen when black people have access to the ballot box, when women have access to the ballot box, when poor folks have access to the ballot box. So what will our governments from the bottom of the ballot to the top look like next year and the year after if we cut off access that we fought so hard to achieve, the access we fought so hard to maintain, to not just get a Democratic White House, but a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate to advance the rights that we fought in 2020 to protect. And so I'm so excited that young leaders from across our country are joining a broad coalition of organizers and activists and clergy, settings that so many of them came from too as well, to say that we won't take it, that we won't go quietly, that next week and the week after there'll be more of us and more of us and more of us until freedom is won, until the right to vote is protected, until more people who look like them can serve on school boards and city councils, in mayor's offices, in the state legislature, as governors, United States representatives, United States senators, and President of the United States, until our democracy works for all of us and reflects all of our voices. We'll keep coming back. We'll keep sacrificing until victory is won. God bless.
Thank you, Marcus. I gotta tell you, the president knows what he needs to do. The president knows what he needs to do. Last time we had 62 people get arrested out here, and this time we said we need to double that number. I'm here to announce we have more than tripled it. More than 200 people were arrested today. More than 200 people. I'm so grateful to everybody up here. I'm so grateful to everybody who's gotten arrested. We are now the very final. Let us hear it. If we can sing loud enough for the president to hear. We shall not be moved. Come on, Joe. Sisters and brothers from Baltimore, lift up your voices, please. The final arrests.
Voting rights now!
We shall not be moved.
Voting rights now! Shut up! Stand up!
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the waters. We shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the water. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, let's sing it again. We shall not be moved. Oh no, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the waters, we shall not be moved. Come on, lift it up, everybody, say, we shall not be moved. We mean it. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. Oh, we shall not be moved. Come on, clap and sing it. Oh, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Come on, raise it up. Oh, we shall not be moved. We mean it this morning. We shall not be moved. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not. Just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Let's lift it up. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Y'all sound good. We shall not. Come on. One more round. Come on, a little louder. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved.
That's the Urban Inspiration Choir.